So how do you create a brand that truly represents who you are and the products you sell, as well as building a business that you can scale online? That is what this podcast will help you do. My name is Henry Kaminski Jr., and welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast.
Let me just make this statement loud and clear. Jersey's here, Jersey's here.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor Podcast episode. Super pumped to be here today. We got our man back, Owais Qureshi. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, Henry? How are you, man?
Doing awesome. How was that conference you were at last week?
So that was one thing that I didn't update you on. I actually ended up getting sick in the middle of the week and didn't end up going. So
man.
Happy to be back. I've just completely recovered. And thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. So,
oh, thank gosh,
yeah.
Thank gosh, man. We missed you, dude. We missed you for sure. Wednesday, I held the fort down on my own, and we went deep into scaling your personal brand.
Wow.
For those folks that are listening on the podcast, if you want to join us live on the podcast, come meet us Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, and then Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we also do a live stream, and would love to have you part of the show live, like our friend Michelle here, who typically tunes in on a regular basis. How are you? She says she's super pumped to be here too. So if you guys have any questions, those folks that are here live, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, or if you have comments, drop them in, and we will acknowledge you and talk about it. So today we're going to be talking about 3 personal brand funnels that you should have in your business if you are a personality brand or coach, consultant, lawyer, realtor, those types of solopreneur businesses. I've been able to leverage funnels over the past few years to really scale my agency up to that 7-figure mark. And I want to share with you some of the customer journeys and customer experience and the way I've been able to connect with my audience, which led to some pretty big deals. And so I'm going to share all of that with you today. But I do have one little message that I want to get out there before we get going. So I had said something I did something on Wednesday's podcast, Wednesday's live stream that pissed a few people off. And I just want to acknowledge this. If you're tuning in and you do not want to be called out for anything, if you don't want to hear the truth, I would stop watching these live streams moving forward, because this is what this show is all about. I am not going to apologize for speaking the truth. Okay? So if you don't want to hear the truth and you're afraid that I'm going to call you out and say something live that may be embarrassing, or you can't stomach it, don't watch the show anymore. I don't do this intentionally. I don't do this to ridicule. I'm sure anybody that has been listening or watching this for some time understands that. But for you newbies out there, I'm just telling you, this is not my intention. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I won't stand for excuses. I won't. Because when I was coming up and my coaches were coaching me up, anytime I came up with an excuse, they called me straight out on it. And you know what? It made me a better person. So sometimes it takes the truth. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tough love, right? I was thinking about it over the weekend. How many times has Gary V in front of thousands of people when he was doing speaking gigs would call somebody out on their question, right? Like, and not apologize for it. I'm not trying to be Gary Vee by any means, but he wouldn't apologize for that. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So
He was very savage.
Yeah, and he, you know, and I get it. Like I get it. We're kind of cut from the same cloth from some angles, and you know, it is what it is. So my apologies, but that's the last apology that you'll get from me. So I love Michelle here. She says the truth. He can't handle the truth. A Few Good Men. Yeah, it's a great movie, by the way. It's a great movie, by the way. All right, so let's get into these personal brand funnels. I said 3 in the promo of this, but I have a bunch of funnels here that I'm going to share with you that I would say don't overwhelm yourself and try to do them all, but pick one that you think may work best, that you think would be easy to execute. And again, if you need help with this stuff, this is what I do. I mean, I'm helping personal brands build their funnels so that they can scale, right? And get the right clients into their business. But here's the problems that we've been seeing over the years of me doing this is, one, there's no systematic way that you're generating leads and converting those people into sales. And sales funnels are a great way to do this, right? Number 2, your audience's journey is confusing them. They don't know what action to take. They don't know how you could potentially help them. There is no clear ladder to success or solution. Sales funnels are a great way to do this. Your clients don't know what to do. And lastly, how does your audience get to relate to you? A funnel is a phenomenal way to make that connection and to nurture that relationship. Okay, so after this quick little break, I am going to dive into a bunch of funnels that are going to help you connect with your audience, qualify them, help them qualify themselves, and get them into a buying mood. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back. If you're a business owner who feels your branding isn't truly representing the value that you deliver, check out this free video training that will help you level up your brand's messaging and online presence so that you can start attracting higher quality clients. Visit www.uniquedesignz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/level up my branding. So anyways, I'm going to kick it off to you. I'm going to throw you the baton, and I want you to cover this portion of the show because it's very, very important. And I know you're super passionate about this particular piece of the marketing and branding puzzle. So take it away, my friend. Before we can start building funnels, what do we need to do?
So, as a matter of fact, before we get started, I want to say what's up to my boy, Stephen Anthony. He just joined. So thank you for joining, Stephen.
My man, Stephen. He says Henry and Oates, the Jordan and Pippen of sales funnels.
What? All right, man.
I love it. I love it.
All right, nice. Okay, so, you know, and we've talked about this over and over again, Henry. You know, much of my process starts around focusing in on the ideal client. And that to me is that center of the wheel, and everything else is like kind of the spokes. So when you focus on the client and you want to be able to create that relatability, focus on exactly, first of all, what it is that they wish to achieve or that they desire to accomplish, right? And then after that, what's standing in the way of that? What are those common challenges, those shared challenges that your particular client is continually encountering? that stands in the way of them being able to achieve what they desire to achieve. And then, of course, and I would probably say this is probably going to be one of those that comes in much earlier in the process, creating a product market fit. Uh, Understanding how your specific offering ties in with aligning with the challenges, and again those desires or those desired outcomes that they're looking for.
Mhm.
And then lastly, how is that particular offering, or how is your overall solution standing apart, or how is it different from the ones that your competitors are offering? So those are the things that you really have to take a look at and come back in and see how that fits in with your clients.
Yeah. So to recap, it's again, understanding who you're serving, what their pains are, what your potential clients' pains are, what their desires are. And that last piece was something along the lines of like bridging the gap between what your competitors are offering and your prospects' frustrations. There is a window there that you could capitalize on if you identify it. Right? I'll give you a quick example. I was talking to a colleague that I met on Instagram last week. We're competitors. We're pretty much direct competitors, right? He does a little bit of a different thing, but pretty much direct competitors, right? He reached out to me. He says, I would love to sit down with you and have a chat. And I was like, why? Like, I didn't understand, right? It's like your ex-girlfriend's boyfriend calling you up and being like, hey, you want to go out for a drink? Like, it was kind of awkward. So he was like, well, listen, we do similar things. You do something that I don't, and vice versa. I just figured we can have a conversation. And I said, sure. So I sit down and we had a nice 45-minute conversation today on Zoom. He lives in Prague. And so we're chatting. And one of the things that he said really struck me that made me want to talk about this point today. He said, there's a lot of people that do what you do, but there's very little that deliver on their promise. Yeah. And he says, I'm not good with joint ventures and affiliates because I'm afraid that if I refer a client to a vendor, that they're not going to deliver, and that's going to tarnish my reputation as the person referring, right? And he says, I've been diving into your podcast for months. I was like, really? Any good? And he goes, I could tell. And then he's been to the website, and he says, I could tell that you really deliver the goods. And that is a gap. That is a gap. There's a reason why I don't work with 100 clients a year, even 20 clients a year, because I want to do a fantastic job with the clients that I have, the clients that I do work with. And a lot of times people are putting the money first for whatever reason, and they're not delivering on the product. They're not delivering on the promise. So keep that in mind. That's just a perfect example of a gap that you could close. Right?
And that's what turns into a blue ocean sort of a strategy.
Exactly.
Where you don't have many competitors that are addressing that particular need. So yeah, identifying that gap really gives you that strategic advantage that in another situation you would not have,
because your competitors your competitors are so worried about making their quota and taking and collecting the cash. The guy even said today, he said, these big guys out there, he didn't name names. He said 80% of their focus is selling their stuff. 20% of it is actually delivering it with quality. So I was like, so true. So true. I've been on the receiving end. And years ago, before I had my processes and systems, I was that way, and I would have these big revenue years, but I didn't have happy clients.
And they're not coming back after that.
And they're never coming back.
Yeah.
So that's that. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. You guys get that point. So let's talk about 3 funnels, right? Let's talk about, I'm going to give you a bunch, but 3 funnels that I use. But building your value ladder first, you got to understand what that is, you know, and for those folks that are unfamiliar with that, I got this term from Russell Brunson. He uses it a lot, but the value ladder is just a sequence of offers that get people the solutions that they're looking for, right? So the bottom of the ladder is the first step, right? It's typically free. And it gets an email address, or a phone number in exchange for value, right? So you're delivering a promise of value, whatever that is. Now, if you know your client's pains and challenges and desires, you could come up with something really neat. All right. So here's a couple of funnels on the low end of the value ladder that could be very, very lucrative for you later on. Okay. So quiz funnels, right? Take the quiz. Now, again, these things have been around forever, right? I'm a big Stitch Fix guy because I hate going to the mall and buying my own clothes. So I'm a Stitch Fix subscriber, and my stylist Jillian, I have not changed her since. She's been hitting home runs every time. I'm on like my 7th stitch. But what they do is they have you fill out, they're not so much quizzes, but they might as well be quizzes. They give me an article of clothing, they give me an outfit, and they ask me if I like it or not. And that every time I hit yes or no, that data gets collected, and now they present me on the app clothes that I prefer. They send me stitches of clothes. I've never had to return a stitch. I've kept every single item for 7 times now.
Wow.
Why? Because I keep them up to date and I take their quizzes. So for you guys, you may be a lawyer, you know, and a quiz may be something along the lines of, let's say a personal injury is very easy to use as an example, right? Have you ever take the quiz? Have you ever been hurt in an accident? Take the quiz to see if you're eligible for, you know, a payout, right? And then you ask a series of questions, and then you collect their contact information, and then you send them the results. You could use, there's tons of quiz platforms out there. SurveyMonkey's a one. Typeform is great for quizzes. I don't think WooFoo does the whole quiz thing, but there's tons of softwares now. If you just type in like quiz funnels or something like that, you'll see what comes up, right? Quiz funnels is a great way to capture a lead and provide value and clarity at the same time. Qualification.
You get to know your customers better, right? I mean, now if it's done in a significantly large volume, and now you're getting all this data back. I mean, imagine what you just got to learn about your ideal clients.
Oh, it's huge,
right? 100. Let's say you were able to do 100 within a matter of the next month, and that's on the low point, right? So if you were able to capture all of that data, now you're able to figure out what those shared challenges are over and over again. And now you can speak to that over and over again. Or you might immediately identify, hey, by the way, we have this core offering that we haven't really been leveraging, that we haven't really been selling at a high volume because we haven't been generating awareness around it.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing all of this data come in that's saying that, you know what, that particular challenge can be addressed by this particular core offering. Let's get it out there.
How
many times does that happen to you?
Yeah, fantastic point. So yeah, more than I want to admit, you know what I mean? But there's another funnel here that I want to share with you. This is one of my personal favorites. It's an application funnel or a qualification funnel. I'm sure you've seen this a lot online where people are asking you to apply to work with them because they only have X amount of spots available.
I think I know this guy named Henry Kaminski.
So this is a great positioning play. This is a great funnel for the person to qualify themselves through putting in a questionnaire up front, having them fill out a questionnaire. Gerard Adams does this really well. I was peeping him out the other week and I saw he's got this application on his website. It's like close to 100 questions, which if anybody goes and does 100 of those, answers 100 of those questions, like all of them, and submits that thing, it's probably a serious candidate, right? Because who the hell is going to do 100 questions, right? So, but I get his positioning. I get his point. He only wants 10 people in that program a year, and he's only going to take 10. So have 100 questionnaire, see who fills it out. Right.
And that it also, so going back to the X number of spots available, just like you were saying, I only work with 20 a year, right? Or you said you work with less than 20.
We're really working with like 10 to 12 clients a year on average.
So what will it take for me to be one of those 10? Now, it just, in my mind, from a perceived value perspective, I start looking at it as, man, what is it going to take? If am I really serious about leveling up my business and getting to that next level, right? And B, what is it going to take for me to be one of those 12 to enter into a program and be qualified?
Yeah.
So, and then you've listed a lot of those things out.
Yeah. And that's super important. I mean, so when they get to that conversation, they fill out the questionnaire, they fill out right, and they book that time to speak with you. You know a lot about them. They obviously know a lot about you. And now there's a much more informed conversation that's going to happen.
Correct.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. There's challenge funnels. That's another funnel that's really popular. I know Andy Frisella does the 75 hard. That's a challenge funnel. That's what it is. I don't know what he sells on the back end of that because I never went through that, but it's a great example. Russell did the one funnel away challenge. And I think that was one of his biggest lead generating challenge funnels ever in his history of ClickFunnels. Great challenge funnel. Masterclass. That's another one, a favorite of mine. You really want to build credibility and authority with your audience? Give them a free masterclass. Teach them something. Show them what they're doing wrong. Show them how to do it right. Showcase your expertise. Showcase how you helped people.
And just enough. You don't have to go into depth, right? Just enough, and leave them wanting more.
Right. Or
that's how you get them into the next.
Yeah. Or send them to the next phase.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about that in the previous episode where, at the end of any presentation, you got to tell them what to do next. Yeah. So I have a masterclass that tells them to book an assessment, right? It's a paid piece, but tell them what to do. All right. Case study downloads is another one. You could create a PDF and have it designed nicely, almost like, something that you would present in front of a Fortune 500 company or something like that. We did one for a client last year. He came to us with this like spammy looking webinar funnel, like it just looked like trash. And I was like, bro, you're a $8 million business. You're really going to go and present this presentation looking like that?
Yeah.
And so we redesigned the whole presentation and it looked stunning. Right. And what we did in that presentation was really showcase how he's helped other people, other clients. And it just had that touch. Right. And so What is that? So download this case study report by putting in your name, email, and phone number, and we'll give you this 25-page case study report, right? Sounds a little bit better than an ebook. I'm not a huge fan of those ebooks because I think they're just overused and they sound cheesy and cheap. I would much rather you try a case study download, because that's all that people want to freaking know about anyway, is who have you helped like me? So it's a way better, I think, lead gen funnel than an ebook.
Yeah.
Would you say? Or
absolutely, yeah. I mean, just showcasing your results, whether it's on your website, whatever it is. Again, connecting it back to the specific challenges. So, if how we enabled a client to generate revenue by shortening their sales cycle and increasing their qualified lead volume would be one. I know that's a pretty long or lengthy topic, or a pretty lengthy title, but I would say that, again, it addresses all of the desires that any business owner would want.
Indeed.
So, right. So shortening your sales cycle, increasing that revenue, and increasing, of course, the qualified lead volume. So, I would, so like having that as part of the topic, and creating a report around that with specific percentages, with specific numbers, with industry specific cases, particularly maybe you're serving, 3-4 different industries. So all of those different components incorporated into a very short, digestible format of a report.
Yeah. It's so important. And what I've noticed over the years is, like, high level folks, they care about the numbers.
Yeah.
They really want to know. They want to know the results. They want to know the numbers.
Exactly. And think about it like this, even for both you and I, right? We're in a position of a decision maker. We've still got so many different things going on throughout the day. If we're given one single sheet of paper that has some sort of a digestible infographic type of a report that just breaks it all down in a very distilled format, to where we look at it and we scan it within the next probably minute, it gives us all the information that we need.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Do it in a way where, think about it from like when you scroll into Instagram, right? Kind of build it out that same way.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Here's a great question from Michelle. Do you recommend a funnel mix of written content and video content? I would say know your customer, know what they want. I think a healthy mix of both wouldn't hurt. I think video will be stronger as a deliverable because they actually can see you, and they're going to be able to digest that on a different level than just reading something. So I prefer video because it has a little bit stronger impact. But there's some people that like to read, so I would
know how they consume.
Yeah. Understand how they consume. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of that. I know for a fact that my clients like video. So that's why I'm a video maniac, right? I got video for days, right? So that's important. And then last but not least, book funnels. Book funnels are very, very popular. I see a lot of people coming out with these self-published books, and it's up to you if you want to go that route. I did it. I didn't really like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't really talk about the book that I self-published years ago because I don't think it was done well. So I don't use that funnel, but there's other people out there that have book deals already. They may have book deals already, and they're trying to figure out how to not be so reliant on Amazon, because you don't really get a lot of data from Amazon when you sell something, right? So like, not data, customer information, right? So, taking that book and selling it on your own website, that gives you all of their customer information, right? So selling a book is a great way to leverage authority, credibility, But some people are like, everybody's self-publishing books these days. What's going to make me different? Da, 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 da. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. But I didn't want to leave it out because I've seen people do quite well with book funnels. So that's the first rung on the value ladder. Those are a few funnels there, right? So you got your quiz funnel, your application funnel, your challenge funnel, your masterclass funnel, your case study downloads, and your book funnels. Now, what about the next step? This is you gotta sell something now. Now that they're in your world, you gotta sell them something. What's the point? Right? So the next step on the value ladder is coming up with a funnel that could sell something. I would say at a minimum $50, at a maximum maybe $500, right? Because this is something, I wouldn't call it an impulse buy, but I would say that it wouldn't need a physical person on the phone to close the deal. Okay, so there's courses, digital courses. There's digital products. There's workshops. These could be live or virtual. There's assessments. I do assessments. I love assessments. They work really well for me, and they provide a lot of value. There's continuity and membership programs like subscription models. I work with a lot of clients and build out a lot of subscription models. We're working on one right now. It's going to be $37 a month, but it's in the personal development space, and they're not looking to make millions here. This $37 a month subscription is delivering way more value than $37, but they want to build that community. The value's in the community. So we're building all that out. It's a great model. And for those folks that love recurring revenue, a continuity or a membership funnel is awesome.
It's awesome, yeah.
Awesome. We got a shout out from Sonal. Thanks so much. The pricing bit was an area I was super struggling with on the online products with no one-to-one service. Yeah. So I would say from experience, anything under $500, you could sell through email. You can sell through a landing page with a decent copy and decent testimony, decent social proof, right? Anything over $500, you're probably going to need either a phone call or some sort of webinar to sell it.
Definitely a low touch, low friction sale. And then another thing I want to add to that is, when you talked about the courses and the digital products, these are things that, of course, they're doing it themselves. It's more of a DIY rather than a DFY. They're done for you type of a thing, right? So, what's typically going to happen, and I think we had this conversation with someone else that was joining us on this live stream as well, where he said, look, 90% of these guys will come in and go through these courses. However, very small amount of that, or very small percentage of that, will actually complete that course.
Right.
And then very small percentage of that will actually apply and be able to gain immense success with it.
Right.
So with all of that said, it's still generating, it will generate revenue. It will generate value for anyone that's downloaded it, but it will only generate value for them if they fully apply it.
Right.
And more than likely, what will happen from just a behavioral standpoint, they will eventually need someone to hold their hand and carry them through that coursework or whatever else you're providing, whatever else your offering is. And I guess that kind of takes us into the next phase.
Right. So the third rung on the value ladder is what I like to call high ticket funnels, right? So if you're a personal brand and you're selling high ticket consulting, this is a great funnel for you. Typical funnels here are like webinar funnels. Again, application funnels are really goodness on this level. If you're selling a done for you program of any sort, If you're developing some sort of mastermind offer where you're coaching, one to many, just on a smaller scale, of course. Or group coaching is one to many, which there could be hundreds of people in that. There's a colleague of mine that has 500 people in a group coaching program at $150 a month. Christo's pro group, $150 a month. It's got 500 something, 600 something. Yeah. His goal
is this is done virtually, like we can actually interact with him.
A lot. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much access you get to him, but I could tell you I've been in it, and I have a couple clients that are in it, and it's really well done on the interior, and there's tons of digital resources and things like that. I don't know how often he comes in as, giving everybody the blessing.
I was going to say, like 500 is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But the way they've categorized and structured it, it is quite well done. And Chris is a quality guy. He's not going to put out crap. So, but these are phenomenal funnels for any personal brand to build the relationship between their social media audience and themselves. Right. So I told you I'd give you 3, but I wanted to give you a whole bunch and then have you follow up with me, ask questions on, hey, which one should I do? Or just to give you an idea of like, what are your options? There's so many funnels that you can leverage.
There are.
It's just a matter of finding the right one. And this is what we do, as a business, is help you find the right funnels for the right clients. And then we build it for you. It doesn't get any better than that.
And look, it all goes back to how your ideal client will consume knowledge, consume information, and how they will apply. So the better you know your clients, the better you'll be able to identify which one of these that we've discussed throughout this entire conversation is going to be the right fit for your funnel. So, this is why it's so instrumental and so important to have that quiz at the very beginning, because it gets to it. The more quizzes you have, I'm not saying just oversaturate your funnel with quizzes, but the better questionnaires you have that leads them to actually give you the information that you need, the better you'll be able to identify exactly how to serve them a specific type of a component later on in your funnel.
So speaking of, I wanted to share a really cool promo that we just finished up with last week. So I have a bunch of digital products that I've built over the years, and I've been updating them ever since, right? And one of the things that I noticed was there's a lot of people that since COVID are really paying a lot of attention to their personal brands and their online identity and how to leverage social media and all of that to get in front of the right people. And I said, you know what? I need to bundle all of these digital resources together and put it in one nice package. And what I decided to do over the weekend is call it the Personal Branding Kickstarter. Okay. This is a conglomerate of everything you need to know, right? Especially if you're a DIY type of person, right? It's going to give you all the step-by-step to kickstarting your personal brand in the right direction. So let me give you the URL. It's Unique Designz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/bundle, BUNDLE. I'll say it again. It's Unique Designz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/bundle. And that will get you access to my personal branding Kickstarter. on the landing page, it's going to tell you everything that is in this bundle, from creating the right offer to identifying who your ideal clients are, to rolling out your first funnel, how to set it up, how to create the right name for your products, so on and so forth. And there's plus a ton more. You have to go to the landing page to really listen or read it through, watch the video. It's all the information's there for you. And that is a perfect example of a middle of the funnel offer, right? Or a middle of the value ladder offer to offer your clients. And so I share that with you, one, because I wanted to promote the hell out of it on the show. Two, I want to give you an example of how easy it is to set up a digital product funnel.
Digital product.
Okay. I didn't get fancy. It's a landing page with an order form on it, with a clear description of what you're going to get, plus a video outlining and promoting it. Right. So go check that out, because it's going to give you ideas. But if you buy the damn thing, it's going to give you so much information so that you can flatten that learning curve instead of you trying to figure out all of this shit on your own. I've been there, dude. I want you to get to where I'm at a hell of a lot faster than it took me.
Accelerate that process.
That's why I put that program together. So again, it's the personal branding Kickstarter, and you can get it at Unique Designz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/bundle. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the funnels that any personal brand should be leveraging to connect with your ideal audience online and systematically convert them to a customer. Okay. So when you establish your value ladder, you'll know what funnels are going to be best in each level. You're going to become the guide or the trusted fiduciary instead of the snake oil salesperson. And you're going to help your prospects and your audience classify themselves. Okay. That's super important. It's super important.
Yeah.
You know, you have to allow them to classify themselves, and you have to help them do that.
Yeah.
This way they know what train to get on.
Exactly. Get them to understand or recognize you as the obvious choice.
Exactly. So there you have it, guys. That is another episode in the books. Again, we do these live every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then we do a live stream on YouTube every 2 p.m. on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time. Please join us live. Would love to have you. I want to give a huge shout out to Sonal for joining us live, Michelle for joining us live, Stephen Anthony for joining us live. We had an awesome live crew here today. And we encourage you guys to catch us on future episodes. If you haven't rated this podcast yet, please drop us a review and rate it. And as well as if you're watching this live, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will serve you. And that is what I'm here for. I love Michelle here. She says, the best 15 minutes of my business day.
Happy to help.
Thanks, Michelle. So we'll catch you guys.
Awesome.
We'll catch you guys on Wednesday live on YouTube. The Brand Doctor is the name of the YouTube channel. I forgot to mention that. That would probably be important, right? Awais, welcome back, my dude. It's so awesome to have you back. And have an amazing day, everybody. And we will catch you on the next episode real soon. Take care.